Welcome to another in the series of Mystical Perspectives. I'm Reverend Cindy Paulus. Happy to be here with you. We've been going through the Spiritual Mind Power Affirmations book by Dr. Paul Leon Masters, and we are into the chapters on wellness. And today's subject is going to be healing a divided mind. This book is available at metaphysics.com, as are his other books, Mystical Insights and Meditation Dynamics. Are also available on Amazon. Healing a divided mind. Well, here are some of the affirmations on this important subject. Recognition. I recognize that to have power in my conscious spiritual thinking, that all stored up memories in my subconscious must be positive in nature. Repeating that one, I recognize that to have power in my conscious spiritual thinking, that all stored up memories in my subconscious must be positive in nature. Now, we put a lot of stuff into our subconscious. Sometimes I think of it as all those emails we haven't deleted. How many thousands? So, of course, we have our dream time to do some of that house cleaning. In dreams, we release and experience our subconscious, and they come out. And we do a lot of times in our breathing and awareness. We can do that, of course, in meditation. We'll be talking about that as well. The next affirmation is conflict. I understand that conflict between positive, spiritually based thinking in my conscious mind will be compromised by conflicting negativity in my personal subconscious until my mind is healed and cleared of such content. So this is the two parts, right? We can have a lot of work done and do a lot of affirmations and do a lot of spiritual work, but if we haven't cleared out that personal subconscious mind and that part of ourself that is hidden in the shadows often, we are putting, a lot of spiritual energy, as Dr. Masters calls it, on top of a garbage can. And that doesn't work well. We want to remove the garbage so that we can have a pure content of being. We'll be getting into how to do that. Sublimation. I understand that I must personally, spiritually sublimate all negative thought energies in my personal subconscious into positive, Christ-minded awareness, into the light of God's presence within me. Now, this is getting into the mystical part of this, because that connection with God and that internal way of connecting with the presence can indeed remove the shadows, because it's all light. Repeating sublimation. I understand that I must spiritually sublimate all negative thought energies in my personal subconscious into a positive, Christ-minded awareness, into the light of God's presence within me. And the next one is such a key, and we usually talk about it every week: meditation. Through my daily practice of meditation, I open the personal subconscious part of my mind to the healing light energy of Christ, God, presence, that all negative trauma and karma be sublimated into light. So here we are thinking of the real power of meditation, being able to allow that light Christ, God presence into our entire being so that we can remove that, or clear the personal subconscious part that is negative. So repeating that one, through my daily practice of meditation, I open the personal subconscious part of my mind to the healing light energy of Christ God presence, that all negative trauma and karma be sublimated into light. Visualization is the next affirmation here. Every day I take a few moments to visualize that the entirety of my inner spiritual mind body is filled with Christ/God light, in which no negativity can live, and thus my consciousness on all levels is healed. Repeating visualization, which is again another sacred tool. Every day I take a few moments to visualize that the entirety of my inner spiritual mind body is filled with Christ God light, in which no negativity can live, and thus my consciousness on all levels is healed. And the next affirmation is breathing. Every time I exhale negative thought energy out of me. And conversely, with every inhalation on a spiritual level, it stimulates the healing flow of Christ God light into all levels of my mind. I had a Zen teacher, he says, breath sweeps mind. And it's true, it's one of the great keys. So let's do this one again. Every time I exhale negative thought energy out of me. And conversely, with every inhalation on a spiritual level, it stimulates the healing flow of Christ God light into all levels of my mind. And conscious thought control. Every time a negative thought surfaces from the memory level of my personal subconscious, I immediately affirm, nullify, and neutralize that thought so that it does not return to my subconscious. Now, we've all known, many of us have read, the power of positive thinking that is shown in so many teachers, Wayne Dyer and so many others talked about what we think and what it does, and there really is a power in your thoughts. So when you observe a negative thought, it's so important to just remove it right then. Repeating this affirmation every time a negative thought surfaces from the memory level of my personal subconscious, I immediately affirm, nullify, and neutralize that thought so it does not return to my subconscious. And ultimate power is the last affirmation here. Through the ultimate power of Christ God light presence, constantly working within all levels of my mind is healed of all negative energies or trauma or karma from this or past lives. So what does this require? A lot of that mystical union, that Christ consciousness, that enlightened state where you can observe and be in that place. Repeating the last affirmation here. Through the ultimate power of Christ, God, light within, that presence that's constantly working within all levels of my mind is healed of all negative energies of trauma or karma from this or past lives. So there's so much depth to this particular subject, of course. And it's so important for us to understand that we can monitor and work and control what's going on in our mind, and the easiest way to do that is to turn it over to God. It's strange because sometimes we are our own worst enemies when we're divided. We have a positive idea, and then the doubts will come up, and next thing we know, we can be working against ourselves. And this is also a reflection of what's going on in the country and the world. Lincoln said many, many years ago, "A house divided against itself shall not stand." Did you know that that was actually taken from the Bible? Christ is the source of the house divided quote. He was quoting Jesus in the Bible when it says in Mark 3:25 that if a house is divided against itself, the house cannot stand. And again in Luke 11:17, any kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and a house divided against itself will fall. So it's true in the world and in countries, and our own country and our own state of mind. Because when we have a divided mind, and we are fighting our own self and our own battles, we are then demeaning and deluding ourselves in not allowing that spirit and that light of God to be aligned with our true purpose. This is where the awareness of metaphysics can come in very handy. Through the practice of meditation daily and observation, we can connect and use our soul or higher self to connect with God and actually work transforming some of these divided energy patterns. The subconscious mind is pretty amazing, but it can be very cluttered over time. It's subject to a lot of influences, things that you were told when you were young that you may not have ever removed, energy patterns, old ones that were never removed, things that you've seen in movies, what you were told, maybe what you see in social media, what you see on TV. So think of all those things that go into your mind. Oh my gosh, there's so much house cleaning to do in your subconscious mind, right? But if we are really going into the light and are one with that light, we can allow that light and that breath and these affirmations to help us align with the ultimate light of God. I wrote this, as above, so below. And this can apply to us and heaven, or it can also apply to our personal life, our spiritual higher self and mind, and the shadow self. There is a shift in consciousness that is being revealed to the soul. The time has come to connect the points of light so we can finally know that life here on earth is a reflection of a far, far greater plan. And it's handy to remember what we were once told so long ago, as above, so below. Here in this life we have on earth, we're given a new chance every day, and to see how the universe is working out in its own very unique way, and we've been given free will, so we can choose what we want to do and to learn all these lessons that we really need, so that when we leave here we have developed some new tools to use. For it's true, we were once reminded so very long ago these simple words, as above, so below. Perhaps those words were really true, and everything here is some reflection of light, all part of the heaven we once knew. Then how important it might be to embrace our lives so we can see how to embrace all of ourselves, so we can embrace eternity. And we must learn to embrace others without any judgment. I know it's true. For if we can love this life here on earth, it will be the same love that in heaven we use. And all of this energy we are given that goes on in space should have enough spirit in it to teach us that what we need is staring us right here in our face. For in this moment, time and space, we need to find the grace to believe that there is a thread of God's energy in everything that will lead us to that shift taking place. For heaven on earth to be here, we must first learn to see how to love all of ourselves and then to love others on the path who seek to find the bridge to heaven. We must build its foundation here on earth. And when we unite together in God's consciousness, we may finally see the truth and believe that as above, so below. It's true. So using the power of light, you can go to that source of light. That's the mystic path, to connect and merge with that light, to arrange and rearrange our lives, and to move ourselves beyond the karma and the shadows, and to embrace all of ourselves. And for that to happen, we need to daily turn ourselves over to God's will, because the ego self has a different agenda than our higher self might have. So if we let go and let God, we can then truly say, let thy will, not mine, be done. And then we're enacting the true power of turning our lives over to a greater good. It takes a lot of faith, and it takes work to create new energy patterns and release the old ones that really are worn out and not serving us any longer. The power of illusion and the dream is really strong, and it can really take seeing yourself in a higher light to know that you can do this. And if there are energy blocks or emotional blocks or old thoughts that are still present, we need to raise them into that light and let them be cleared so that we can move ahead and fulfill our purpose. Let's do a meditation here for a few moments. Let's relax and let's breathe in that light and clean out any part of our subconscious mind. Let that light shine upon all of ourselves as we breathe out. Breathing in the light of God and letting go and letting God come into our entire being now. Breathing in that light, calling in the light, and letting it fill our mind and cleanse our mind totally as we breathe out, release. If there's any part of our mind that we feel that we need to address, that we've been afraid of seeing, now let the light shine upon any of the shadows there in the subconscious mind, any of the part of that ego that will fight your moving to the true purpose you're here from. Fill your whole mind with light. Let it connect with the light of the one presence of God. Breathe that light into your entire being and believe it's doing the work to merge you with the one that can heal you. Go deeper and deeper until you're finally in that place of peace that passeth all understanding within. Let that peace be present in your mind. That place where there's no conflict, no confusion, no illusion. That place where all turmoil ends, where we can release the drama and step into that higher, truer self, the objective, higher vision. And we can watch the dreamer of the dream and merge with that presence of God that is the source of all creation and the creation of this dream. In this moment, watch this life of yours and what you're living as your movie on earth, the role you're playing on the stage of life, and see and visualize the unfoldment of your victory, of truly fulfilling your purpose, and that bliss of happiness when you know you are aligned with your true purpose. You are the breath of creation. You are one with this presence of God. you are able to call forth the experience and choose your perception of this very moment. To be here and present right now in the center of all life, in the mind of light, in the mind of God, connected by your soul space. You are in this perfect presence right now. Feel the power of this gift of light alive in your life. Let it sweep your mind out. With each breath you feel any of the shadows are disappearing with the light of the new dawn. That you are really truly who you are and what you came for. See that light flooding around your entire being, the purpose that you are with the strength to be it. Clear the area of your mind and your subconscious with deep, deep, deep breaths. Breathing that light into all parts of who you are, mind, body, and soul. Breathing in the power to know you can choose to be aligned with that light. Now, slowly come out of meditation and say, thank you, God, and so it is. I'm going to close out with the Father, Mother of the Cosmos, the New Age version of the Lord's Prayer. Father, Mother of the Cosmos, shimmering light of all, focus your light within us. As we breathe your holy breath, enter the sanctuary of our hearts, uniting within us the sacred rays of your power and beauty. Let your heart's desire unite heaven and earth through our sacred union. Help us to fulfill what lies within the circle of our lives today. Forgive our secret fears as we freely choose to forgive the secret fears of others. Let us not enter forgetfulness tempted by false appearances. For from your astonishing fire comes the eternal song, which sanctifies all, renewed eternally in our lives and throughout creation. We seal these words in our hearts, committed in trust and faith. Amen. Today's talk was based on the book by Dr. Paul Leon Masters, Spiritual Mind Power Affirmations. It's your practical, mystical, and spiritual inspiration that's applied to your life, and it's available at metaphysics.com and amazon.com. And I have all of these talks available to listen to again for free at mysticalperspectives.com. I thank you so much for being with me and sharing this time together. May God bless you with His light and love always.